Hello everyone, and a very good evening to all of you and to another wonderful webinar series that we are doing. And in this series, what we're going to cover is the next big national talent hunt, the national qualifier that's going to happen by a very big MNC, and that is nothing but WIPRO's Elite National Talent Hunt. We've done one webinar on this before. We're going to do many more as we go on. So today's WIPRO Elite National Talent Hunt webinar is specifically about one topic, and we're going to cover the one question every day as we keep coming closer to the actual Elite National Talent Hunt preparation at the actual test itself, right? So that's what we're going to keep doing. So before we start that, for a lot of you users who are coming here the first time, the way generally we're going to work is I will explain the pattern of the WIPRO Elite National Talent Hunt to you. I'll tell you where you can register for it. So let me do that. Then I'll take one sample question for you to do. So I'll take one sample question that was asked previously by WIPRO. So I'm not even taking some random question. I'm taking a question that was asked previously by WIPRO, and then we're going to solve it. And I'll show you how to solve that on a live online compiler. All right. So let's get started with our session today. This is the pattern of the WIPRO test that you should expect. So this is the pattern of the Elite National Talent Hunt test that you should expect. There are roughly three aspects to it. So there is the aptitude test, which depends on logical reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and even English reasoning. So this is the aptitude test. It should be about 60 minutes. We are not sure how much the marks will be for each of these, but rest assured that this is one of the sections. Then the other section is going to be written communication, where you have to actually write an essay. You have to write an essay, and based on your essay writing, you will be given a certain score and a certain percentile. And then finally, our topic for today, which is nothing but the online programming test, which is you're supposed to use, you will be given two programs, and you'll be given that much time for coding those programs, about 60 minutes to code for these two programs. This all will be held on AMCAT Automata. So this entire thing will be conducted via AMCAT, which means that it's going to be difficult, which also means that we can somehow guess a little bit of the pattern. We can think a little bit of what are the previous questions that have come. Specifically, the best way to prepare for this online programming test is by looking at as many as the previous year's questions as possible and understanding those questions and trying to answer those questions properly. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to look at some previous year's questions. Just before I go ahead with that, two programs means generally speaking, one of the questions will be easy and one is going to be difficult. Your aim should be that definitely I should get the easy question, but in the difficult question, can I get at least some test cases? If not all test cases, some test cases, if I can pass, then both of this, the entire first one, that is if I clear this, and the second one, some test cases if I pass, I have a good chance of clearing the entire online programming part, which takes a lot of the weightage. For first and second, please make sure you're at least above the 60th or 70th percentile. If you're above that, then there's a good chance that you can clear. But for the online programming test, this should be your tactic. Clear the first one fully. Second one, at least try to clear some of the test cases so that you have a chance of getting clarified or getting chosen for the next round. Now, before I go ahead, which are the languages that you can use? You can use any of Java, C, C++, or Python. Many students ask which is the best language to do these coding practices, and the answer is choose that language which you are most familiar with. Don't choose a new language right now. That is not the time to learn a new language. Instead, choose a language that you are most familiar with, and if you understand the logic of the question, then in any language you should be able to code the solution. So don't worry about which language you're going to do it in. If you're comfortable with C, you can do it in C. If you're comfortable in Java, do it in Java. Don't learn a new language right now. Focus as much as possible on the logic. The syntax will follow. The syntax you will understand, and that you can use your own favorite language for it. All right. So just some final thoughts before we actually get to the preparation. You can register on this link. So this link, which will also be mentioned in the description, this is the link that you should be used to register, and the registrations are still active. They will be active till October 3rd. Please don't miss out on the chance to register. Everybody should without fail register. If you have not registered, pause this video, go register, and then come back and continue this video. Don't watch this video without registering on the platform, because that is the most important. You can know as much programming as you want. If you have not registered, then you will have a problem in you will not be able to actually do the test. Okay. Now today's session, I'm going to be doing the programming part on the Edyst WIPRO preparation pack. The Edyst WIPRO preparation pack is the link is given in the description below. All right, so the link is given here, and in fact I have given the link over here as well. It's nothing but bit.ly/edyst_wipro, which is over here, bit.ly/edyst_wipro. If you go to that link, you will get 2 free modules that you can do, and I am going to be using the Edyst platform to be to practice all of our questions today. So I will be going to bit.ly/edyst_wipro, and I will be using that to clarify or to understand all of the questions for today. All right, so let me just show you how to do that. Okay, one second. Right, so I'll go to the following link. I'll be going to the link bit.ly/edyst_wipro, and I'll be trying out the 2 free modules. I will be doing a question that is a previously asked Wipro question. So let me show you how this actually looks on the Edyst platform, and let me just open that up so that you all know where you can also practice. So if I go to bit.ly/edyst_wipro, I will see the following page. I will see this page over here, where it is all of the links are given. That is WIPRO Elite National Talent Hunt. We have the entire syllabus over here. Let me zoom in so you can see. We have the entire syllabus over here. We have the prerequisites, what you should know before you take this course. And then you can try out 2 free modules right away. These are some links given about how you can apply for the Elite National Talent Hunt and some more information. So when you click these 2 free modules now, when you try for this, it will ask you to register with your email ID and either Gmail or Facebook or whatever you want. And finally, you will end up on this link. So this is how it will look for you. All right. And over here, as you can see, we have 2 free modules open for you completely. In fact, for the first time ever, we have aptitude questions free of cost available to you also. So we have this question which covers all of the basics of programming. Anybody over here who's not programmed since their first year, who's forgotten how to program, who has doesn't really remember much about the program, we have all of the warm-up material. If you're already good at programming, you can directly go to some of the previously asked questions which are over here, WIPRO previous years questions. If you want, you can try out some of the aptitude questions. We have some free aptitude questions also for you to try out, and obviously these 2 modules are completely free. You can take up the remaining modules by paying and unlocking and take up the remaining modules. So that's what you can do. So I'll be using this to do it today, and after you pay, this is what it will look like. So let me just open it up. This is what it will look like for you. All of these modules, all of these boxes will be open. Today I am going to go to the WIPRO previous year's questions and do this following question, which is nothing but WIPRO hollow diamond using stars. So let's go to that question and see how you can actually do this question right now. All right, so let's explore that question first. And the question is as follows. Okay, the question says, I'm giving you an input, and this is the input. All right, the input is 5. For an input of 5, the output should be the following pattern. Right, so the output should be 1 star, then 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, then again 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, and 1 star. Right, this is what the output should be. Now, those of you who've been following our webinars, you will know that at any given point, anytime you have a pattern question, there are 3 questions you should ask. Number 1, how many rows are there? Right, so how many rows do we have over here? Right, and then in each row, columns, and what are we printing? Right, so that is what you should be asking. So here for the input of 5, we have this sort of a pattern. What we can see is, if we have 5 as the input, we are printing 4 rows in the beginning, 4 rows at the end, and 1 row with all of the 5 stars over here. So which is nothing but we have 4 rows followed by 1 row of 5 stars, then again 4 rows. What is special, why am I grouping these 4 rows separately, is because these 4 rows are in a certain pattern, like they are coming out like a triangle like this, and here it's coming out like a triangle like this. So this is one of the important techniques in patterns, that you should try to split your pattern into different patterns if possible. You don't need to always do this, but sometimes it's helpful for you. So if possible, try to split your pattern into multiple patterns, and that's what I'm doing. It becomes easier for me that I took this pattern, I split it into multiple patterns. So the first pattern is a triangle like this of 4 rows. The second pattern is just one row with all of the stars, and then finally with 4, which basically means for any n, first what I have to do is print n minus 1 rows of triangles. Then what I do is I print one row of n stars, right? So I have n stars over here, and then I will print again n minus 1 rows. If I divide like this, then doing the approach becomes easier. Basically speaking, I divide into 3 parts: top half, middle row, bottom half. And the top half is n minus 1 rows, all right? N minus 1 rows. Here also n minus 1 rows. In fact, if you notice, the bottom half is a reverse of the top half. So if the top half is like this, the bottom half is exactly like this, right? So it's a reverse of the top half. If we figure out how to print just this triangle, then we just need to reverse that and print this triangle, and we're done. So let's look at how we'll do that. How would we print the first triangle? The first triangle is like this. In row 1, we print 1 star. Row 2, we print 2 stars. Row 3, 3 stars, and so on. So what are we actually doing? For the ith row, first of all, we need a loop to loop through the rows. And then for each row, we are printing I number of columns. Excuse me. So we have I number of columns. So we have one loop for the rows and another loop for the columns. So let's look at how the pseudocode for that would look like. We have a loop. This is the I loop, which will loop from 1 to less than equal to n minus 1, right? Which is basically we are going to print n minus 1 loops over here. So n minus 1 rows over here. For each row, I am going to loop I number of times, which is nothing but row number of times. So in the first row, I want 1 column. In the second row, I want 2 column, and so on. And then when I'm looping through that, I'll print a star. After I printed a star, after the column is done, I print a new line. So this will take care of my first triangle. Similarly, I have to print the middle row. Printing the middle row is pretty simple. I just have to print n stars, which is just one for loop to print all of the n stars. And finally, to print the reverse of the first triangle. So this is the triangle. If I want to print the reverse of the first triangle, this is what I should be doing. I should be for just reverse the row numbers. So instead of going from 1 to less than equal to n minus 1, I'll go from n minus 1 to greater than equal to 1. The loops remain same, the columns remain same, and I'll just print a new line. All right. So just pause over here for a bit. Think about what's happening here. Change all the values of I, j, and n. Change all the values. See what is happening for each of these I, j, and n values, and you'll understand how this is working. This first loop is for the first half, this loop is for the middle row, and this loop is for the bottom half, right? So that's what's happening over here. 1, 2, 3. These are the different loops. So finally, let's actually see how we can program this. And since most of you are comfortable with C, let me show you how you can actually do this program in C. So let me do that for us, right? So this question is called half diamond using stars. I'm just going to take that up right now. Let me just go to the question on the Edyst platform. So we have it over here, right? So this is the question. This is the input 5, and I'm supposed to print this sort of an output. Let me move to C programming and write this output for you, right? Or write this code for you. So the way it's going to be is #include stdio.h int main. This is the standard stuff. Even without knowing the logic, this is the first thing you should write in any program, so you know what's happening. So you have int n, which is the number of the input number rather. We'll take I and j as our counters. So we have let's take input the number n. So we have scanf mod d and n. 1 second, right? So we have that and n. All right. So that's what we did. Now what we're going to do is first print the first half. So we do first I for I equal to 1, I less than equal to n minus 1, I plus plus. All right. In this, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the columns for j equal to 1, j less than equal to I, j plus plus. What does this mean? I want to print here, this is for rows and this is for columns, right? Okay. Now in each column, what am I going to do? I am going to print a star. So let me print a star, printf star with a space. right? So I printed a star with a space. Once I'm done with my columns, I'm going to print \n, right? So let's see if at least our first half of the triangle is being printed or not, and then we'll look at the middle and second half. So it's a good practice to just take your thing. See, the first half is being printed. It's a wrong answer because we have not yet printed the middle and the bottom rows, but the first half is being printed, so we know we are on the right track. Okay. Now we need to print the middle part, which is very easy. What do we need to do? We need to print n number of stars. So we just need one loop for that. I is equal to 1, I less than equal to n, I plus plus. And what do we do? We have to just print stars. Printf stars, right? We print the stars. And after we're done with that, we print a new line. That's what we did. We're done with that. Okay, let's see if the second line is printing. Yes, the middle row is also printed. Very good. Now we're just left with printing the bottom half. And the bottom half is pretty simple because we got the first half. We just copy that. Okay, paste it here. The only thing that's changed is the value of I. So if I make this n minus 1 and I make this greater than equal to 1, that's all that has changed. Instead of going from 1 to n minus 1, I've changed to n minus 1 to 1, right? Let me run this and see if this works now. Okay, we're just waiting for the result. Let us see if it's working. All right. Why this is taking us so much time is because we did one mistake, which is that we did n minus 1, I greater than equal to 1, and we did I plus plus. Ideally, it should have been I minus minus. What this has caused us is we have gone into an infinite loop, and that's why it's taking so much time to compute. So let us wait till it comes back, and then we'll try to run with I minus minus. So it's taking an infinite loop, and so we have to wait. And just be careful of this, like how I copy pasted it. Before copy pasting, just be very careful about what you're copy pasting. It's good to reuse your code, but don't just blindly reuse your code because you might run into this kind of an error where it's taking up a lot of time. So let us see what's happening here. Okay, and great. Oh, we didn't receive a result. All right, so let's do I n minus 1. Okay, this time it's minus minus. Let's see if it runs. Yeah, it ran. We passed all our test cases. Brilliant. Let us try to submit it and see if more test cases are passed. By the way, the same thing will happen with you in AMCAT, where you can run, or rather I should say WIPRO, you can run your test cases, see if it's coming out as it's passing or not, and if it is passed, then go ahead and submit it. So let us submit it and see whether it works. It does. We passed all our test cases. So just recapping before I get into some questions that you might have. So just recapping about this entire thing. What did we do? How did we go about solving this? We solved this, and just after I recap this, I would like to take some questions from some people, some commonly asked questions. So after I've recapped this, so the recap of this is basically we divided the pattern into three parts, right? So the pattern was divided into three parts, which is nothing but the top half, the middle row, and the bottom half. The top half is this triangle over here, right? The bottom half is this inverted triangle, and the middle row is nothing but the entire n stars. So by doing this, we were able to break down the problem that it's not even a three-part problem. It's actually just a one part. If we solve this problem, then this problem is easy to solve. The third problem is just an inverse of the first problem, right? So that's what we can do. That's what we did. And so the approach was something like this, where this was for the first row, sorry, first half. Then we printed the second half like this. We printed the second half using this print n stars. And then finally, we used this loop, the last one, to print the last stars, so the last half. So not all of the loops questions will follow this pattern. So it's not necessary that you should always divide into stars, or you should divide into three parts. You can, sometimes divide it into two parts. You could sometimes just do it as one loop. Do more and more practice. You will get a better feel for what are the kind of the questions that can come, and by looking at a question you will get into a feel of, should I divide into three halves, or should I just keep it into one part? Should I make it a square? Should I even use 2D arrays? Don't use 2D arrays, but generally you will get a feel of which question is coming, right? So right now we'll move into some possible questions that anybody could have. right? So I'll just wait from my team for these kind of questions. That if anybody has any questions, you can just let us know about the kind of questions. We have some questions coming in from some different channels. So in any case, if you have any questions, do let us know, and we'll answer them right away. Yes.
The first question we have from some of the audience and some of the students who written to us is, what's the typical difference between a Code Vita, Ninja, and something like?
All right. So one of the most famous questions that we're getting is what's the major difference between a Code Vita, a Ninja, and something like a WIPRO Elite National Talent Hunt. So what I'd say is the WIPRO Elite National Talent Hunt is using AMCAT, which means that it's going to be a little bit more difficult than Ninja. It won't be as simple as Ninja was, but it's not going to be as difficult as Code Vita also. So AMCAT has a special pack called AMCAT Prime or AMCAT Pro where they ask very complex questions. This will not be that. It will just be a simple questions based on loops, arrays, all of which we have covered on the platform, which I showed to you. So all of that is covered on the platform. It will not be as difficult as Code Vita, but it won't be as easy as Ninja, which means from now up till you have about 3 more weeks, practice every day. If you see all the previous year's questions, you should be able to crack it.
The second question is, what are some of the sections which will be there in this, and how much time do we think we should spend in preparing between now and later?
All right. So what are all the different sections that you're going to get in this test? As I said at the start of the webinar, there are about 3 sections. The first one is aptitude test. And even for this aptitude preparation, you can just use the Edyst platform. Over 250 of the previous AMCAT and WIPRO aptitude questions are there on the platform. So just go and sign up and take that up. Number 2 is the written communication test. This is an essay writing thing. So just make sure that your grammar is correct and your spellings are correct, and you should be able to pass this. This is the second round, and the third one is going to be an online programming test. Our advice is always that focus on this one, because the first 2 you can still practice, you can still get some training. The third one you cannot do on the last day. It requires every day some practice. There are over 50 questions asked previously. Do 2 every day. By the time you come to the WIPRO National Talent Hunt, you should be ready.
How many questions are asked in the coding test, and is there a difference between the first and the second question in terms of difficulty?
So how many questions will be asked? The 2 questions are going to be asked, as mentioned over here, 2 programming questions. And generally speaking, the first one is easier than the second one. Our goal should be that the first question clears all of the test cases, and the second question, if it clears all, very good. Minimum at least clears some of the test cases.
The next logical question is, what is the best way to ensure that we are clearing all the test cases?
So one very good question is, sir, you are telling us that you should clear all the test cases for the first one, and the second one some test cases fine. How do we clear all of the test cases? So test cases clearance comes with a lot of practice, which means you should have practiced a lot of questions. Generally speaking, some of the test cases that you will not get will be because of optimization. That is, you might have to optimize your code. That will not be the case mostly with WIPRO, because it's not your advanced questions. It's not like your code Vita question. Instead, what you have to do is make sure you don't miss out the edge cases. And the edge cases means, let's say you're doing a division of a number, you should not be doing division by 0. So are you taking care of that case? In this case that we did of the loops, what are you printing when the input is -1 or -2, right? Is there a pattern for negative numbers? No. So did we take care of that in our code? We didn't, because the question didn't specify. But in AMCAT or WIPRO, the question will specify it, and we should do something about it to clear all of the test cases.
2 last questions. One is, in the order of preference or the importance, which are the topics we should be focusing on?
Okay, brilliant question. So right now, limited time. What are some of the topics that we should be focusing on, because we have limited time? So once you log into the Edyst platform, you will see that we have divided the topics into different categories. So all of the topics are divided as per all of the questions are divided into different topics. So you have loops and patterns, maths, arrays, strings, sortings, and stacks. As you can see, most of the questions were asked on loops and patterns, which basically means that the first question generally is going to be a loops and patterns question. Then after that, you have different topics. I would suggest you follow this order. There's loops, patterns, and maths, because it's a logical order of difficulty. So follow that order. Also, if you're stuck in any one of these concepts, it's pretty easy. Just go back to the warm-up section. For each of those topics that we had discussed, for example, you're stuck in arrays, just open up arrays. We have tutorials on arrays. We have some sample questions on arrays which you can do to revise yourself. Okay, so go topic by topic. Whenever you're stuck on a topic, go back to the warm up and see what was the answer as per the warm up, what were the tutorials as per the warm up.
Last question, in fact, two parts to it. What are some of the other webinars which are coming up specific to Wipro? And two, is it enough if we practice the free module questions on the Edyst platform?
Right. So two questions here is one, there are two free modules available to you, and those two free modules are these. Is it enough that I just practice these two free modules and I'll clear it? The answer is no. These two free modules have been given to you for you to understand what are the kind of questions Wipro will ask. For you to be fully prepared, please sign up for the entire course so you can get all of the previous year's questions, including aptitude questions, which are over here. So the free modules are just for you to try out, get a feel of the Wipro pack. As for what are the next webinars that we have coming up, well, next few webinars, in fact, tomorrow we have one, and then we are continuously doing one. For you to know which webinars we're doing, please subscribe to this channel. Please click subscribe. Please like this channel. Share it with your friends so that even they will benefit from this. This is a brilliant opportunity. So the next few webinars are all going to be, we'll take one previous question from Wipro, solve it, and we'll actually do the code in front of you so you know how to do it. So all of the next upcoming webinars are going to be a previous Wipro question. If you have any suggestions on what are the questions that we should cover, please let us know in the comments below, and we'll be more than happy to cover it. But all of the upcoming webinars are going to be about previously asked Wipro questions. So I hope that answers all of your questions. Thank you so much for those amazing questions. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. Especially share it with your friends so that more and more of you can clear and be part of an amazing company like Wipro. All the best to everybody who is watching this, and stay tuned for the next webinar. All the best, everyone.